all about writing with Ben and Sarah.
Welcome to All About Writing, the podcast that covers everything about the world of writing from the inside out. This is episode 54, part 7 on our series of marketing. I'm Ben, here with my co-host Sarah, who is an award-winning, best-selling author, screenwriter, editor, and TED Talk presenter.
And I'm Sarah, here with my co-host Ben, who is an award-winning, best-selling author and ghostwriter, editor, and publisher. And today we have a guest. I would like everybody to meet Rebekah Bryan. I'm going to have her take it away with her background, and then we are going to dive into a very unique specialty that she brings to author branding and marketing that I've never seen anywhere else. And since Ben and I struggle so much with marketing to begin with, I figured this was a good one to bring on the show. So Rebekah, tell us about your background, both as a writer and take it away.
Okay, so hi everyone. I have been writing and publishing books since 2014. I've published, self-published 7 books. This is one of them right here. That's my, the cover of my middle grade fantasy book. That's what that is. So, middle grade fantasy, the ones I've written most recently are modern Jane Austen retellings. So, they're kind of romantic comedies set in present time. And then I have another series about concert going adventures that are semi-autobiographical. So that is my writing background. And in 2019-ish, I started the endeavor that I'm going to talk about today, which is author styling. So helping authors decide what to wear to events and to represent themselves in front of their audience.
Okay, love it. Fascinating. I've certainly been to enough sci-fi conventions to see all kinds of costumes and outfits, but I'm not sure that's what you're talking about. So
sometimes.
Okay, great. Take it away. Tell us about it.
I was going to say, I think it's really interesting because we kind of forget about ourselves when we're going out in the world as authors and what we look like. I know, that's a huge part of it is presenting yourself in person. But like what, how do you even get started other than a costume, which feels, I've done it where it borders costume. So I know you're talking about that, but please make sure I want to cover both sides of, the extremes, I guess.
Yeah. I have different categories kind of that I present to people that you can do it. I like to encourage people to find a brand that can be consistent when they show up at events. So it's like it can be a type of clothing. In fact, I use you as an example for this one, Sarah, because when you were promoting your Pioneer books, you wore plaid to all your events. So it can be a type of clothing like a plaid shirt. It can be a color scheme. For example, when I was selling my Jane Austen books, I always wore like a lavender and then a bright yellow because the lavender was for the girly and the bright yellow was for the fun. So I was always wearing those colors at every event I went to. It can be an accessory. I know some authors who wear like big themed necklaces. In fact, I just met a woman at a writers conference who makes and sells dragon necklaces. So she writes fantasy. So she wears her dragon necklace to every single event. And I sat next to a woman who writes picture books about poodles, and she has this really cute poodle scarf that she wears to every event. So accessory is a third thing. And then costume. I mean, when I was promoting Flowerantha up there, I dressed like a character in the book, essentially, and I wore like this flower, like leaf headpiece. And it definitely gets eyes on you if you have the confidence to do a costume. That'll get eyes on you. And the fifth thing I say is just maybe your appearance. Maybe you're a man and you have a giant beard. Maybe you have pink hair. Maybe you wear really cool glasses all the time. Maybe you don't need to worry about your clothes anyway because you have such a unique appearance. So those are kind of the 5 categories I present to people when they're trying to figure out how to stand out.
Yeah, I can see why it can be a challenge for authors because many of us are introverts, and
Yes.
the idea of standing out is the last thing we want to do. And you said there, if you've got the confidence to pull something off, great. So I guess my first question is, what about if you don't? Like for so many authors who really are struggling to get out there, what are some kind of safe things they can do as far as dressing as an author?
My absolute favorite tip for authors who don't like to start conversations is, and this is really easy for authors, wear an interesting t-shirt that will do the talking for you. Because if you're wearing something that your audience is going to resonate with, they'll ask you about it. They'll say, I love your shirt, and that'll open the door for you right away.
Just like
Yeah,
Ben's shirt today with
Yeah,
his
exactly.
with his
yeah,
tiny millennial falcons on there. Like, I mean, that, and then you can very quickly dovetail into, well, I also write space.
that's right. That's right.
Yes, nailed
Funny
it.
you should ask.
Yeah. No, it's true. Whenever I go to Dragon Con or one of the big sci-fi conventions, I do have a bunch of T-shirts that are from different, sci-fi, bringing Star Trek, Star Wars, Doctor Who, but they're not just sort of just straight up like Star Wars. There'll be some funny thing on there, which only insiders will know. And I find certainly in the sci-fi world, if you have an inside joke on your shirt, true fans love that, and they will come. Oh, I love it! And you're right; it can start conversations really well. So, as a sci-fi geek, I sort of have this built-in, a menu that I can choose from of who do I want to connect with regarding that.
Yep, exactly.
Well, and I guess, like, do you recommend that authors create a brand that they do? Like, should they go book by book? Is that one way to brand? Are you branding yourself to sell your book? Or are you branding yourself as like an author, like just the overall, like, my brand is I always wear white, and I wear white at every appearance, no matter what book I'm talking about. That's like my branded look. Or do you think it's more effective to go to do something book by book? Like you have different kinds of books, so they were very different looks. Think, what do you have an opinion on that, or recommendation?
I think it is personal preference. Um, Even if you are writing different books and different genres, it is very possible that there's a through line, however. And I like to think of branding, how you want your books to make people feel. And you could think of that when you're getting dressed too. Like if all your books have like a strong female lead or something, maybe you want to wear a blazer with strong shoulders every time, or maybe you want to wear leather elements every time. So, I mean, that's something to think about. You could go book by book, you could pick a color scheme, or you could just really think about what your brand, what you want people to feel, and then bring that into your clothing.
This is all like, I was like super on the nose. I was saying, like, I'm writing Pioneer, I will wear plaid. Like, there wasn't any, like, you're like, oh, you need to think about like bigger than that. It's all new to me.
But I don't think that's bad either, because I don't think a stereotype necessarily is a bad thing, because it's easily identifiable. Because it's like, okay, if I want pioneer fiction, I'm gonna go to the lady wearing plaid. I just actually worked with a man who writes, I think, yeah, mystery at this last writers conference. I was a industry expert, and people could book appointments with me. And one of the men I worked with wrote mystery, and he was like, well, what do I do? So I looked at his Instagram, and I saw that he had a fedora on some of these. I'm like, well, you write mystery. It's a little obvious, but you look great in the fedora. Can't you just wear the fedora all the time? And people are going to be like, oh, he's a mystery writer. I get it. So I don't think obvious is necessarily bad.
Fair enough. Okay. What about, you know, and Ben knows more about this than I do with costumes.
Mhm.
I mean, if costumes are the thing for your author brand or books, and Ben, I don't know, like, are there places where you can wear them that aren't like Comic Cons? Like,
Well,
imagine
yeah.
a writers conference. Like, do you show up in a costume or a variation of that if that's what you're gonna end up? If you were like, I'm owning this, I'm gonna just do it every time. Have you worked with people who do that?
I think you do have to keep appropriateness in mind and venue in mind. I think if you are at your table selling your books, a costume is fine. I think if you are going to other panels, where you are a guest in the audience, you should probably tone it down because you want to start conversations, but you don't want to pull focus away. So maybe if you were wearing a hat at your table, take off the hat, like a huge hat, like take off the hat to go to the panels or whatever. So yeah, I think in any situation probably where you're selling your books, you have a table, it's probably fine. But if you're networking, maybe a networking event is not the place for a full costume, just an element of the costume.
Yeah. Yeah, an element of the costume. That's a really interesting thing, and it'll be different for everyone, of
Yeah.
course. But yeah, trying to bring in something that's just evocative and eye-catching. Man, I'm getting tired already just thinking about this. This is so hard. Um, so it's why we need help.
That's why you can hire me.
I'm thinking too, like, if there's this is the kind of thing where like for your author websites, which we've talked about, or for any of your headshots, or for maybe, your Amazon, extra pages or things like that, like this is where you would maybe really want to have an idea of who you are branded, like you're a forward, you know back in the day. Do you remember how like every author had a photo on the back of the book, and they were always like, it was like this same photographer took photos of these people, and they would be like this, and they would either, be like this, or they'd have a
Hmm.
pen. Yeah, that one.
Always,
Yes.
always in black too.
Yeah, it was like there was like this standard thing that everybody had for a while in the back of their books. And now it's like this is where you get to do all the fun stuff, both back of the books as well as like all the outward facing. So even if you're not comfortable doing it in person, like if you're gonna do, you could always do this for all your author branding elsewhere too, maybe.
Right.
Maybe I'm just thinking of the shy people, like who are like, I would never be caught dead with even one crazy necklace. Like I will wear black and sit in the back row. How am I ever going to use this to create an author brand? So, that's something too that they could do,
Yeah,
right?
it
Like,
absolutely applies to social media as well. Yes, yeah, you can show up on social media wearing the same color all the time. One author I follow, drinking martinis is her thing. So she'll always like have a martini glass in her hand or whatever. So, and there's one, she's not an author, but I think she's like marketing tips or something. And in every single social post, she's wearing the same pink blazer. So you could even have one piece of clothing that you just put on every time, that same pink blazer, and then people will recognize you by that.
why didn't I think of that? Here I've been like scrambling with my social media posts and trying to make sure I'm not wearing the same thing, like, or if like I've even gone like to do, if I'm going to record a couple things, like I'll have four shirts next to me, and I keep changing them to record a different video because if you're like, wear the same thing. That is branding, and I get it makes all the sense now. That will make life a lot easier.
I do the same thing though. I do the same thing. But I mean, I'm selling fashion, so I guess I probably should change, but I feel like most people can have a signature thing.
Good idea. There you go, Ben. Now it doesn't require a lot of work.
Okay, love it. Yeah. Well, I mean, I've heard about like some authors, they'll definitely show up with a certain look every time. Like Neil Gaiman, for example. He always wears black and has a black leather jacket. That's his look, where he goes. Now, he's Neil Gaiman, so he can do whatever he
Right.
wants. But even so, he's very recognizable. And I mean, to be fair, wearing all black and a black leather jacket can be just as hot as wearing a costume. So I'm sure he's suffering sometimes too. But he's sort of gone for a look that is just kind of cool. I don't know how much it has to do with his books. It's just kind of cool. And so I guess there's that angle as well. If you just want to be really stylish, as long as you're going to own it and be consistent with it, that can be a thing too.
That's exactly right. Yeah, consistency is the key. And owning it.
Yeah. That's it. It's confidence.
It's probably not a problem for authors. It's the owning it. Like,
yeah, it's
you gotta it's like you have to mentally prepare yourself. Like, I'm just gonna go and do this thing and make it happen. Like, it's a mental game.
like anything else.
Yeah. How do I feel comfortable with writing? Okay, I'm in sweats. Okay,
right.
I'm gonna own
See,
it.
that's what everyone says. Yeah. When I ask the question, what are you most comfortable wearing? It's always sweats. I'm like, okay, but no.
What are you most comfortable wearing in public?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. So I guess we kind of always talk too about cost. Cost of marketing. This is a cost of marketing. I mean, it sounds like it can be cheap, like free, if you just want to pick something that you use in your closet, all the way to being extravagantly expensive with your Star Wars hats, right? Like, I mean, I want to people to know, because we've talked about, there's a cost to, putting up an author website or hiring a marketer or, all of these things. So this could be something really affordable for people to create a piece of their marketing and their branding, right?
Yes. Yeah, it could cost nothing, or you could get a whole new wardrobe. However much you want it to cost.
Or a costume.
Well, that is a good way to
or
justify it. Yeah, I need a whole new wardrobe for my writing career. So, I mean,
it's not for your writing career. It's to help you feel more confident and present yourself more cohesively and confidently to the world.
Yeah.
And
you can spin it.
Yeah.
And sell more books, because they'll recognize
and
you.
sell more books.
It's going to pay for itself.
Yeah, it's a tax write-off, probably. I don't know anything about that, but probably.
Is that what you tell everybody? Tell your husband it's a tax write-off. All of these clothes are tax write-offs for my business.
Yeah, is that not right?
It is a tax write-off, I suppose. Okay, well, did we miss anything? I thought it was such an interesting concept to think about your clothes as a branding tool, because nobody talks about it like that. But is there anything we didn't ask? It's such a interesting marketing idea that I almost don't know what questions to ask. So did we miss anything that people might want to know?
I don't think so. I brought up, obviously you want to be consistent. I did bring up the concept of appropriateness. Definitely look at the venue where you're going to determine if this is the thing you want to wear. You want to stand out in a good way, not a bad way. Also, fit is always important. It's not always easy to find clothes that fit. I understand. That's why I help people. But if your clothes fit, which means not too tight and not too loose, you are going to look put together, even if you are wearing a black shirt and jeans. So do consider the fit too.
That's just good advice.
Yes.
That's just life advice.
That's just life advice.
Yeah, it's good life.
I snuck that in there.
But people, I don't think about fit. You either, not in the way I think we used to, where people tailored their clothes. Now we don't really tailor our clothes culturally, at least here, at least me.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, or me, very often.
All right. Well, Ben, do you have any questions?
No, I think we're good. I love it. I love what you're saying, Rebekah, just about how it's to build confidence and make the author feel good about getting out there, because it can be a real challenge. And if you're dressed snappy and you know it, it can actually really make all the difference. So, costumes or something unique is great in certain cases, but if nothing else, just feel good about yourself when you get out there. Love it. Great.
Exactly.
Advice.
Great takeaway.
Yeah.
Good takeaway.
All right. Well, Rebekah, where can people find you if they want to seek your advice or learn more about you?
The easiest place is my business website, which is styledwithatwist.com. And then all my socials will be listed there as well.
Wonderful. Well, I will definitely be checking it out myself. I want to see some of the examples of some of the amazing authors that you've dressed up. See what it is. Okay, well, thanks so much for being with us here today. That's our show for today, everyone. Please don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our chats, and feel free to leave a review because it really does help us a lot. You can catch up with Sarah at sarahdahlman.com and on Instagram.
And you can find Ben at ben@rcoles.com, as well as on Facebook and Instagram. And we'll have all of Rebekah's socials and links on the websites where you're listening to this episode. So thanks for coming on tonight, Rebekah. It was good to see you. Thank you for sharing your unique expertise. And we'll just remind our listeners that if there are any topics like this one that you want us to cover, please let us know. Thanks again, and we'll see you when we next chat all about writing.
This has been All About Writing with Ben and Sarah.